personality of an individual. My name is Liwei.
My name is Amit, and today we are going to talk about graphology, that what are the uses of graphology and why the people are not believing in it and they are cautioning against graphology nowadays.
You may ask what the basic principle of graphology is. It may be handwriting, which is similar as well as unique for one as much like their fingerprint. Moreover, their size of their handwriting, their slant, as well as the spacing in between their character is unique as well. In 2 or 3 decades ago, people were of the belief that if one's handwriting is in a kind of similar way, then they have some kind of similarities, and if they are doing it in another way, then those guys have some similarities. They usually prefer to do this by judging them on the basis of their characteristic of handwriting, such as slant, text size, spacing, and there are many other things which Liwei will discuss further.
According to Ski for One, graphology has helped proven to fix some issues. Psychiatrists have been able to implement writing into the experimental field.
This is often used in various fields including recruitment, counseling, self-development, which are helped to assess individuals based on subconscious signals revealed through their writing.
Thank you, Liwei. Now I will tell you some facts about graphology sourced from the article Graphology in German Psychiatry. Handwriting was used in the past to diagnose mental illness. In the late 19th and early 20th century, German psychiatrists believed that handwriting could reveal and open one's signs of mental disorder such as schizophrenia. Graphology was also known to be linked to personality analysis. Many experts thought that handwriting could indicate a person's character, intelligence, and even criminal tendencies. Doctors studied famous people's handwriting. Some psychiatrists analyzed that historical figure handwriting, and like the first fact, the doctor retroactively diagnosed, which is the practice of identifying an illness after the death of the patient. Sometime a historical figure using modern knowledge method them with the mental illness. Tiny handwriting was seen as a sign of intelligence, where some graphologists believe that small handwriting suggested an introvert personality trait, while large handwriting indicated impulsiveness.
Thank you, Amit. Those were some fun facts. Some courts use graphology in Germany. Graphologists were sometimes consulted in legal cases to judge a person's trustworthiness in court. Graphology wasn't universally accepted. Many scientists were skeptical and dismissed handwriting analysis as a misconception, argued that it lacked empirical evidence. It later influenced handwriting analysis, even though graphology lost credibility in psychiatry. Its techniques helped shape modern handwriting examinations used in crime investigation in the present day.
Thank you, Liwei. So, as Liwei told you, that graphology is a systematic study of one's handwriting as a clue to personality. So, there are a number of important features which characterize one's handwriting in various ways while analyzing, from which one is the letter size. Most of the graphologists are of the belief that large handwriting is said to express confidence and extrovertedness, whereas compressed handwriting may promote shyness and a concern with the detail. On the other hand, medium-sized handwriting may be defined as a balanced personality. The slant of handwriting is also analyzed, as a right slant is to believe that reflects a person is social and emotional, while left slant reflects the independence and caution. Handwriting with less or no slants is linked with practical and logical nature. Handwriting also examines words and letter spacing. Spreading word and letter apart can indicate independence, whereas close spacing can indicate that individual is friendly and likes people. How letters join with each other is also an indicator. Letter joining together can be indicative with logical thinking, whereas disjointing letters can be a sign of creativity. The other significant characteristic is pressure of handwriting. Hard pressure is assumed to show strong emotion and determination, whereas soft pressure may show sensitivity and peacefulness. Speed of handwriting is also considered as another factor. Authors with quick speed are viewed as a quick thinker or impatient people, while authors who write slowly are viewed as careful and thoughtful people. Supporters of graphology believe that handwriting analysis provide legitimate information about a person's personality and the on-the-job behavior. According to the right stuff, what the evidence say about the handwriting analysis in hiring by Thomas and Watt in 2002, the author examined that some companies have used graphology as a screening tool for making hiring decisions. They argue that certain handwriting characteristics are linked to such qualities as honesty, reliability, and emotional stability. For example, studies suggest that slanted handwriting can indicate emotional expressiveness and that firm pen pressure can be a sign of determination and persistence. The proponent argued that graphology is an humble and a low-cost method of personality appraisal that yields information not reflected in traditional resumes and interviews. Moreover, graphology was also used in some European countries such as France and Germany, where companies are of the view that it provides useful understanding of a job applicant. Some claim that if it used as a combination with other assessment methods, handwriting analysis can provide a more balanced view of applicants' personality. Employers who utilize graphology contend that it can be particularly useful in identifying personality characteristics that influence workplace behavior such as leadership potential or the capability to get along with work. Graphology need to be the sole deciding factor in the employment decision, but its users think it can be an additional way of assessing the personality of an applicant. It has kept graphology in use within some companies despite ongoing debate over its scientific validity. Despite its uses in some recruitment processes, Thomas and Watt argue that graphology lacks scientific validity and should not be relied upon making hiring decisions. Multiple studies comparing handwriting analysis to standardized personality tests have found that graphology does not produce results any better than random chances. This means that characteristic and personality traits supposedly revealed by handwriting are often based on subjective interpretation rather than objective measurable data. One of the most significant issues with graphology is the inconsistency among its practitioners. Different graphology frequently provide conflicting analysis of some handwriting samples, leading to unreliable conclusions. Without a standardized system of universal agreement on how handwriting traits correspond to personality, the practice remains highly subjective and difficult to validate scientifically. Additionally, when handwriting analysis is compared to widely accepted psychological assessment, it has failed to demonstrate a meaningful correlation. Established personality tests such as the Big Five personality trait assessment have been rigorously tested and proven effective in evaluating job candidates. Graphology, on the other hand, lacks empirical support, making it an unreliable tool for assessing traits like honesty, reliability, and emotional stability. Although some companies, particularly in Europe, have continued to use graphology as a part of their hiring process, experts caution against its use as a primary method of evaluation. Instead, organizations are encouraged to invest in scientifically validated hiring techniques such as structured behavior interviews or psychometric assessment. These methods have been shown to provide accurate insight to an applicant's personality, work ethic, and potential job performance. While handwriting analysis may be still used as a supplementary tool in some cases, it cannot replace evidence-based recruitment strategies that have been proven to predict workplace success.
Thank you, Amit, for teaching us how graphologists try to make this concept work. I will now discuss the many influential people who have contributed to shaping graphology. In 1622, an Italian doctor, Camillo Baldi, created a book, How to Judge the Nature and the Character of a Person from His Letter. He gathered that there is no connection between handwriting of different writers. Every penmanship was unique. Despite Baldi's studies in 1871, a French cleric archaeologist, Jean-Hippolyte Michon, collected handwriting and studied them. He created the term graphology, which came from the Greek terms for writing and study, according to Cécile. He was a French priest, archaeologist, and founder of modern graphology. He was a brother to two, one who became a priest and the other who worked as a doctor, according to Admin. Born on 1807 in Laroque, Presse, feet, he studied in Angoulême at the seminary in Église Saint-Sulpice, Paris. In 1830, he got interested in priesthood, according to Liwei. Jean Michon was introduced by a philosopher named Ab Flandrin to the methods of graphology around 1840. Although many ancient authors in the past had thought about graphology, Jean created a system for it. For ages, people used graphology to analyze a person's personality. He made the term graphology to represent a series of graphic signs and its empirical linking to a person's character, making this the study of writing, according to Mazza. Michon was not only interested in handwriting, but was curious about botany, archaeology, history, geography, and architecture. He was part of the French Society of Archaeology and founded Graphological Society in Paris. He wrote books about church-related lives and the status of women in Catholic Church, and published the monograph of a Renaissance castle, Chateau de la Rochefoucauld. According to Admin, he also founded the first school of graphology and a journal, La Graphologie, according to Massa. Max Pulver was born on December 6, 1989. His work was on pressure, intelligence, and crime. Pulver's approach to graphology was influenced by Sigmund Freud. He proposed the theory of symbolism of space, pressure, and crime to understand a person's personality and subconscious mind. He brought psychoanalysis into graphology. He is the author to 4 graphology books and was the president of Swiss Graphological Society until he died. Klages also presented how harmony is important in handwriting, and the harmony of a person changes the distribution and movement rhythm of each word. This suggests the pressure, width, slant, and size can be changed depending on a person's excitement of feeling.
Thank you, Liwei. So let's go more depth in graphology. So most of the graphologists are of the belief that handwriting can reveal their emotion, their health, as well as their fate. So let's begin with an example here. So you can see like there are 4 different examples of handwriting. The first one is like for a loner person, then an extra person, carefree person, and a controlling person. You must see the difference by the handwriting and the type of the pressure and the word format it's used in here. There was a famous graphologist in the past whose name was Jean Hippolyte, and he was of the view that handwriting can tell one's person's fate and even their future as well. He determined this on the basis of their pressure and the type of handwriting they do. Like here, you can see that this A word is written with light pressure and gentle with a timid and sensitive way. Whereas on the other side, it was written in a high pressure, forcefully, and in an anger manner. But once a day, his peer, Jules Jamin, he cautioned him and said that this is not 100% accurate because with some other graphologists, it may conflict. So he asked Jean to just examine it again. So he found that it's not 100% accurate.
The biggest issue with graphology is that it lacks scientific support. Many studies have tested its accuracy, and the results are clear that handwriting does not reliably reflect personality. One major study compared graphology with real personality assessment like the Big 5 personality trait model. This model measures openness, consciousness, extrovertness, agreeableness, and neuroticism. The study found that graphology were no more accurate than random guesses. Another experiment in Israel tested expert graphologists by asking to random people determine job based on their handwriting. The results, they failed completely. Their assessment were no better than chances, but instead of admitting their method was flawed, they made excuses claiming that just because someone has a job, it doesn't mean that they are good at it. For example, of a special pleading, making excuse instead of accepting the evidence. So if science has debunked graphology, why do people still believe it in? The answer lies in psychology. One reason people believe in graphology is because of psychological illusions. Graphologists often use a technique called cold reading, which is also used by fortune tellers. It involves making vague statements that seem specific but actually apply mostly to everyone. For example, a graphologist might say, "You are kind, but you also know how to stand up for yourself." That sounds personal, but it actually makes true for all people. This trick makes people feel like the analysis is accurate when in reality it's just a journal statement. This is why many people feel that graphology works because they unknowingly provide the confirming detail themselves. It's not handwriting that reveals personality, it's a way of our mind interpret vague statement as personal truth. Another challenge of our graphology is that handwriting itself is becoming less common. With the rise of digital communication, which is email, texting, and typing, most people don't write by regularly hand anymore. Even when we do, our handwriting is often shaped by how we were taught in school rather than our personality. If graphology were accurate, then people who learn to write in the same style should have identical personality, which is clearly not the case. Despite this, graphology is still used in some places. In South Asia, particularly in India, it has been commercialized as a business, with companies offering handwriting analysis for career advice and even medical diagnosis. This shows how pseudoscience doesn't appear, it just adapts new market. So if graphology doesn't work, what does? Science-backed hiring method like behavioral interviews and personality tests based on psychology are much reliable. Structured interviews where candidates were asked the same question and scored objectively have been shown to predict job performance far better than handwriting analysis. Similarly, personality tests like the Big Five models are backed by decades of research and provide real insight into an applicant's behavior. If a company wants to hire the best candidate, they should invest to prove methods rather than unscientific techniques like graphology. To sum up, while graphology is an interested concept, it's not a scientific validated tool, personality assessment, or hiring. Studies have shown that it is no more better than random guessing and making it claims rely on psychological trick rather than real evidence. With the decline of handwriting and availability of better hiring tools, graphology is losing relevance. While it may be used still in some part of the world, business should focus on proven methods that actually work. Next time you hear someone that handwriting reveals personality, you will know truth. It's a myth, not a science.
In conclusion, there is still so much debate regarding the scientific validity of graphology. The established and still popular study of handwriting to determine personality traits. Despite the early contributions of individuals such as Jean Hippolyte Michon, Camillo Baldi, and Max Culver, and Ludwig Klages. The area has not consistently produced practical data to back up its claims. Although graphology has been applied to many various fields, its techniques are significantly flawed. Its scientific credibility is questioned by its reliance on personal interpretation and consistency. Graphology has had a persistent cultural influence despite its scientific flaws, particularly in fields like job hiring and personality testing. Modern psychologist tests, on the other hand, provide more reliable, consistent, and scientific supported techniques. As a result, graphology does not satisfy the strict requirements needed to be considered a valid psychological tool. Therefore, there is no reliable psychology explanation to explain how a personality could be accurate reflecting in handwriting. Now you have learned what graphology is, the methods and evidence graphologists use to convince us that it works, the important people who introduced graphology, and why it scientifically does not work.